Hi, it's Tom at Sweet Maria's, and Steve Ford and I. Steve is from Ritual Coffee Roasters in San Francisco, and we just finished judging the competition for the HomeBarista.com coffee home roasting competition. So we assume all these were home roasted, and I'm just going to show some of the clips of Steve and I talking about the coffees, but I wanted to make a couple comments. The coffees that were chosen for the competition were really coffees with a lot of character. Naturals, wet hulled coffee, Sumatra, and there was only one really clean washed coffee, the Guatemala Maravilla, that was chosen. So it was very difficult for us to cup these and not have the character of the coffee really be a dominant part of the tasting process. They were also blended. We didn't realize that they were going to be blended, some of them. So it's still, what we focused on was the roast quality. That was our assignment, was focus on roast. Roast has to be related to the coffee selected, the blending, and the type of coffee used, the original source green coffee. So you can't completely divorce them away. However, you can maximize quality from any particular coffee. For example, someone submitted what I think was the straight Sumatra, and that's just not a competition coffee. Sumatras are not going to do well on a table where you have pure washed coffees and really nice Ethiopian naturals that are unblended. But, and Steve doesn't, they don't really use many Sumatras over at Ritual. So the herbal flavors and stuff are not something he's so used to. I thought that one of the roasts did a really good job with that particular Sumatra. It's not going to win, but I'd give it props for just being a good roast interpretation on that coffee. So we did make roast the dominant factor that we were scoring for. So we just wanted to introduce what our discussion is going to be with those comments, and here's some of us, how we were talking about the coffees and what our criticisms were. We had some definite scorched coffees, so on those batches we hope that feedback is good, and I hope we're being critical. We think that's the role that they asked us to provide, and I don't want to take that as any disrespect or anything. But we also found a couple coffees that looked like they were roasted beautifully by looking at the roasted coffee, and in fact they didn't score so well. We had one coffee that actually was roasted terribly that I scored pretty well, so it's a little embarrassing, but that's how things go sometimes. And the last comment was that in terms of judging the appearance of the roasted coffee, normally in cupping you put the roasted trays in front. We had noticed some things that would bias us. We wanted to look, there's sort of natural, and then the cupper's curiosity to say, I think I know what coffee that is. And also there were roast issues. So what we did is we numbered all the cups and we separated the roasted coffee so that we could not have that right in front of us when we cupped, but then we could go back and reference those to see if there was roasting problems that corresponded to what we were tasting. So we did visually judge the roast and made comments about that, but we tried to do it not in direct reference, to the coffee right in front of us, because that would be kind of cheating. So we hope we provided some good feedback, and again, we were trying to be constructive. So thanks. We can't be blind because we've used coffees that have a lot of personality in this thing. The Maravilla was the only good clean wash central. So I just felt like it had the body you look for. I think it developed some sweetness, which is like, and it's definitely herbal and funky.
83.
I gave it, I gave it 86 because I thought for judging roast, it did well with what it was given. So 83 is totally reasonable too. That's a good range for that. 12 is dried apricot, like flavored souffle, sort of. Oh my God!
Yeah. Again, this is the one that to me was like also had the
Oh my god! I can't believe this.
that kind of yogurty sort of like the in the acidity.
Yeah.
But there was a distinct roast note finish
Yeah.
on the end of this to me.
Yeah.
And then to look at it, you would think that it's
Oh,
would
I can't
taste a
believe
lot
it. I
darker.
quit. I quit. I'm terrible. Oh. So this coffee's totally scorched.
Yeah. All over the
Really
place.
bad. Oh my god.
But
Well,
maybe-
you know, it like, I don't know, somehow, right? It like,
It's still very
and maybe,
sweet.
you know, the first coffee I cupped was that Sumatra.
Yeah.
And then I went to this coffee, so maybe I just, so I'm going to go, and I'm going to go back to the other top ones.
Right.
And try to re-rank them.
Right.
Which may not sound fair, but I think that's totally fair.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
This. I mean, as far as like
That's roasted in like a pan or heat gun where it doesn't circulate.
Sure.
It's very scorched, yeah.
somehow
Somehow it worked for, you know, and you know,
the flavor was fine. I mean, really, the flavor was good for the most part of the cup. Again, it was just where the finish where it kind of fell off.
the funniest thing is going in Ethiopia, having them do their Ethiopia traditional roasting and watching coffee just get scorched like this, and then drinking it and going, oh my god, it's actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like a minute after it was roasted, and
So-
that's. I thought it had this. This is our light roast. It had a nice body for a light roast.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
A little on the baked side,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more of a cupping roast.
I mean, I think this, you know, as a cupping roast, it gave a lot of like that nice sort of like light caramel, you know, sweetness to it, and
Yeah.
You know, the acidity really came through in this one, which was nice.
It's still actually, to me, yeah, it's got the acidity. It's really clean, but it has pretty good body. I mean, the problem here is that in a competition of roasting, is this a cop-out just to roast really light?
Right.
But I mean, it's a light defect. I mean, you can blow a light roast too. You can scorch it
Sure.
and do all kinds of things. So it's definitely a good development.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't pick it as my number one because it's like it would need to go a little further.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it's a nice cupping roast.
And we're both used to tasting coffee roasted like this a lot because this is what we roast.
Right.
But you wouldn't use that as a production roast at Ritual?
Yeah, I think so. I think this
Really?
is just a little too light.
Okay. No, I mean, but it's close.